Hi guys, I'm ExactChaos and welcome back to another episode of Cities Skylines. We are playing Exactville. So in the last episode I spent the whole episode developing this very beautiful diverging diamond interchange, and it kind of works like a charm. I think it works like a charm. We'll keep an eye on it, but we won't be spending more time on it today. What we will be doing, however, is fixing our monorail network that we have that we've kind of dropped out of action over here to create this whole thing. So what I'm going to try and do is see how best we can create that monorail network or fix it. Okay, so if I do that, I think that could actually work. What are we doing? Just the straight one. We do something like that. Will that work? Is that okay? Will that function as a monorail? Well, look at that. It looks a little bit funny, to be honest. So we'll run it. It's not quite straight, is it? It's not really doing the straight thing over here. So shall we try and take off the snapping? And yeah, we can straighten it up ourselves if we take out the snapping. Good stuff. So why it was doing funny things? So what I try and do is see about bringing it straight down the middle. Got no idea how steep this can go. But I would imagine something like a monorail can go rather straight. And then if we run it like this, that's going to be beautiful. So my only question is, can we tie it in like that and potentially change this section of road back to normal? Let's have a quick look at that. Let's do that, and that section there. The only thing I don't like about it is the billions and billions and millions of pedestrian crossings we're showing over there. So I'm wondering, and I'm going to use Move It, and I'm going to have a discussion with you guys on Move It right now. If we do this, it kind of sorts us out a little bit, and at the same time I want to see about doing something like that. Yeah, just smoothing it out a little. Okay, that's going to be it for that on Move It at least. So there we go, connected straight back up, and running. Is it running or not? Oh, there it goes. It is running straight away. See how this works? Ooh, looks a little bit iffy to me. A little bit iffy. I'm not sure we can make it better though. It's gone straight over the top. Let's see how that looks. Maybe what I'm going to do is we're going to raise this a little bit. So if I do that, I'm just going to raise it up a bit. Just so we smooth it. Yeah, something like that. Can't raise that, but that's looking a little bit funky now, funky and clunky. And I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, so I'm gonna grab that one and we're gonna raise it up. not that. I don't want to do the pillar, I want the node. Is that the node? Yeah, it's the node. So bring that up like so. That's just going to make it all a little bit more gradual. Okay, that's it. Just because it looked a little bit steep to me. Okay, so there we go. I've got our monorail all set up and ready to rumble. Okay, so that's that. Why am I having major water issues again? I just don't understand this anymore. Maybe I'm doing things wrong. Maybe I had an extra one that I wasn't sure of. Anyway, we will pop in yet another and connect that to make sure that we do have sufficient water generation. But it's weird. I think it's weird, guys. I think it's weird how it overnight goes from working to not working. It's clear from all of these little skulls and bones I've got going on over here that we need a few extra crematoriums, so I'll just pop in a little something, yeah, say in there. I think that's a pretty decent spot for it. So that should cover a little bit of an area over here. Okay, so I had some comments stating that I'm not getting residential demand because my education system is failing miserably. So elementary school, I've got more eligible people than I've actually got capacity for, and of course I've got areas that's not quite well covered, especially these new areas, these infill areas over here, some areas over this side and over there. But first things first, let's pop a little something in here. What is that? That is an elementary school with a little bit of a different view on things, and it'll fit in there quite nicely. So I'm going to pop that in there to update that section, see if we can't get a few more people in there. I want to grab this kind of elementary school, a little bit more, seems a little bit more high density, and I'm going to pop it out at the end of that road over there. So I've got a little bit more high density elementary school in this section, and that should cover most of this at least, or try and pick up a little bit more. The other one I want to do is all the way on this side over here, and I was thinking something like that could be cool. Yeah, that could have a nice look to it actually. Ooh, it's clipping. How is it clipping? Do I have like anarchy on or something? It should not be clipping. Fine. So I'm going to use move it, and we'll have the move it discussion right after I try and fix this. Like so. There we go. Now we've got a bit of a bridge there. Yeah, that's fine. Kids playing here can can look at the cars, go by. That looks like a dodgy little inner city school right there. Okay, so that's a few of those. Let's have a quick look at the high school stuff. So clearly we've got some issues with high schooling as well. Why that one isn't picking up over there is kind of something that I struggle with. But I'm thinking this would do well as a high school spot right over here. Pick up everything around here. I don't quite know why that one is struggling so much, but I'm thinking, ooh, and that's anarchy, so let's make sure we switch that off, and we'll plop it in. Actually, this side of this might be good. If we could only do that though. And I think I'm just gonna pop it on this side. We are actually covering all of that road, so it's fine. Just do it on that one over there. Okay, so that's that for now. There's some traffic over here that we'll solve in at a later stage, but for now I think all of that is running and working well. Okay, I had a comment discussing that they would be pretty keen to see how I do this thing without Move It, and the simple answer to that is there is no way. The game by itself does not actually allow you to do these angles. And even though this isn't perfect, angles like this and close connections like this just isn't feasible in the game. If we do take a quick look at, and let's do this with like highways. If we do that, alright, and we bring in an extra road, and to be honest, acute angle would be this. So on a highway network, right, this ramp that's joining here at like, what is that, 25 to 30 degree angle, maybe 25 degree angle, should in actual fact be merging with this at more like a 5 degree angle. And the real highway guys will tell you that it should be something like 3 degrees. So even that is not sufficient. Even that is not sufficient, because this guy is not stopping here at a 90 degree angle, he's joining the road network. And because you can't get that to happen, you need move it to squeeze it like so, to try your very best to get that at a very acute angle like so. And that thing you just can't do. Then the next thing you can't do is, now I can't actually join something on here, even there. I mean, so I can't actually get stuff to join. So I wouldn't be able to do this next to that, or this next to that, without using something like anarchy. The other thing I would like to show you is, if I'm just doing a standard connection, for some reason, let me extend this a little bit to continue to show you this. So if I do that, and if we just say we're going to do this, for some reason it tries to bend it in the wrong direction. It needs to go the other way. This isn't the way a highway network would look. It does this way. And apologies, that's not quite a bend, that's more like a node. But the bend is in the other direction. So this game naturally does the wrong thing. It doesn't do that, it does the other way around when you're creating something. So for that reason, I use move it. Okay, so I'm not going to dwell on it much longer. But for that reason, anarchy or move it is required to get the actual highway designs in here, and even that's not quite right. It is to do the actual highway designs that you require to do as per highway standards, highway design standards. So that's it. I don't for a second think move it is cheating, as long as you do it to do things that's realistic. This, for instance, is realistic. All of these things can be built, and this kind of arrangement with 2 lanes in 2 lanes and 1 lane into 3 lanes is completely realistic. You see it everywhere. I try and do 2 lanes and 1 lane into 3 lanes and then merge that down. From the other side, you can just do 2 out into 1 and 2. So that's completely realistic. As long as you don't use move it to connect something that's completely ridiculous. So if I now switch on anarchy, even anarchy can't make this work. But if I now do stuff like that, right? Of course this is not working, and of course this is cheating if you've got anything operating in this, and if you've got cars going up here, that's cheating. So if you do that kind of thing, it's ridiculous and you shouldn't be allowed to do that, so that's cheating. But if you do realistic movements, this kind of stuff you will see in reality, I don't think move it is a problem. In actual fact, move it is a very cool tool to refine your network to make it look more realistic. And that is where I'm going to leave that conversation. So If you agree, if you don't agree, please let me know in the comments. I'm happy to hear from you and hear your opinions on the matter. Okay, so let's see. What are we going to do next? I'm thinking a bit more infill. I'm thinking the extension of the monorail. I am thinking potentially this interchange. But since I did the interchange in the last episode, I'll probably not do that just yet, just to give you guys a little bit of a break. What I am also wondering about, and something that was suggested a while ago, was to maybe do a section of farmland or something out this direction. And I think something like a road over here moving in that direction, with some farming areas next to this, might be pretty good. So let's do that. Let's pop out of here. We'll pick up that area. We'll do that area, and we'll grab that area. Okay, so that gives us a nice big extra block. Ooh, look at that. That looks quite interesting. Little lake thing over there, which might do a good extra part of this city in the future. But anyway, I think that's fine and sufficient. So what we're going to do here is we're going to just extend this road out, and I will just curve it a little bit as it gets out of there. Yeah, something like that. And then what we're going to do is we are going to run a national highway out there. So typically you see big roads turning into kind of national highway type roads. And I'm not going to try and destroy the bulk of the actually, to be honest, switch on the topo. Aha. So if anything, we're going to go out like that and try and swing it back into the contour over there, and then we'll run it along in this contour. Okay, and it's actually kind of a bit of a scenic route. Actually, let's need to keep it straight, and then we turn it into the contour, and yeah, we'll end around there. That's fine. So now immediately we've got like the police chasing down Forest Drive. Forest Drive is not bad. So from the city roads, Forest Street turns into Forest Drive, and it becomes a national highway that feeds into area that would be a bit of a farming area. So it's going to be small. I might extend the rail at some point. We'll see how that goes. But for now, and the comment on the residential demand and education was absolutely spot on, because immediately we've got better demands going. So thank you so much for that comment. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a bit of an area over here. And I might cherry square. And I might actually extend that in the future, but for now I'm going to just leave it as is. So if we're looking at smaller roads, a 2-lane gravel road, and I'm just going to do a bit of a section off of it like this. Gravel roads historically can have a much more acute slope than you would typically see on paved roads. So I'm not going to do acute slopes on it, but I just thought I would mention the fact that gravel roads can do much more acute slopes. And so what I'm also going to do is I'm going to try and squeeze this in this general direction like so. And we'll see how that goes. And I'm sure I don't have any snapping on, so someone is yelling at me saying, oh, none of your roads are straight, which is fine. I don't believe roads need to be straight, even remotely. What is that? What is the signs? What are these signs say? Oh, highway. Nice, interesting. I like it. I like it. Okay, so now we've got Cherry Square over here, and Cherry Square is going to include some farms. But I'm gonna be a little bit more selective in how I actually zone the farm areas, and to be honest, I will actually add some residential demand or some residential plots in between, because and even a bit of a corner store or something. Actually, not quite there. I might have a little bit of a corner store or a bit of a commercial strip over here, a few houses right next to that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop out, and I'll probably need to pause this a little bit because I don't have all the utilities out here. And what I'll do is I'll run something in like say so, and like that potentially, and do something like that. And this is a pretty steep incline, which is fine. I don't mind it even for a minute, because this is farmland. This is farmland. You've got like tractors and stuff happening. You clearly see steep inclined roads all around farming areas. Okay, so Cherry Square over here will cover a bit more. So we'll do some farming areas over there and over there. Maybe another one over there. Actually, I'll do a few like so. Maybe pop in another bit of a house over there. Okay, something like that. Do a few farmy thingies over here. Yeah, that's okay. Let's pop in a few more houses, something like that and like that. Just diversify the sizes and so on a little bit, just so that there's a little bit more to look at. I'm gonna pop in a little bit of a corner store right over there, and all of that looks pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. What I'll do is I'm gonna actually maintain this stretch of road as a bit of a commercial section. Okay, so I'm just going to do a bit of that, and I'll probably do something. Actually, the thing on the corner here should be a police station, and now we don't have anything that looks in any way or shape rural. Intelligence agency. Yes, I'll put my intelligence agency all the way out in the sticks over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that one in there. I also need to put a little clinic out here. Do I have something? A small clinic. This is perfect. I don't know what I've zoned on this side, but I'm going to pop the clinic on the other side. Yeah, that's fine. That's going to be perfect for us. And I'm going to do a bit of a fire station as well. And again, we've got nothing that is even remotely feasible as a rural kind of fire station. So there you go. There is our little town area of Cherry Square, or the makings of it at least. Let us immediately, and now I've got the snapping on because people were yelling at me. No, I'm joking. It's all in my head. So we'll run alongside our national highway. We will run the water utilities out into the sticks alongside the road like so. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to make sure to run it all the way along our so-called main road, or kind of rural main road, and then up these key kind of spines, and I'll do a little bit of a section like that to just fill it in. So there we go, that's water. Now we need to also run a bit of power. So what I'll do is I will run power alongside the road, because that's where you will find it. And then I'm going to run it into town towards the back of the buildings, right, like this, and just connect it in there. So there you go, you've got your high voltage lines running in there, and that's all up and running. So let's see how this area fills in. Oh, the other thing that this area would also have is a small school, which we have very little of, but actually the vanilla elementary school is probably as close as it'll get. So I'm just going to pop it in there, and then we can fill in the rest of it like so. But yeah, there we go. What is this? An ice cube factory? Why do I have... Ooh, hang on. Stop. I forgot a key element, and yeah, you guys are probably shouting at me because of it. This is agriculture, and if we go to commercial, it's definitely not tourism, definitely not leisure, so it's fine. It's just going to have no commercial specialization then. Is there anything else? Just industrial. What is that? Generic industry. Fine. No, that's fine. So, oops, my bad. The ice cube factory will have to tear down and give us some farming stuff. So look at that, guys, a little bit of a farming community. The other thing we can do is we can actually provide it with a bit of a railway station, if we actually had something that fit. That's the other thing that I'm a little bit not a fan of in the vanilla game, is the fact that so my cargo station looks like this, and there's no way you have a cargo station that looks like that in a rural village or whatever, or a farming town, or whatever you want to call it. And definitely not a double track cargo station or anything like that. So I might actually go onto the Steam Workshop and look for something a little bit more rural to place around here. But there you go, there you have it. As a bit of a finishing touch for this, what I am gonna do is I'm gonna actually I've seen some guys make it look very nice by just kind of adding a bit of a row of trees every now and again. Nothing too neat, just a little something like that to kind of delineate the farms themselves. So typically people would have had a bit of a farm boundary like this, and so on. And I can even run it through like that and act like that is a bit of a farming boundary. Even something like this. They're not always straight, they're not always, yeah, so something like that. Indicating that that's their land over there. Yeah, something like that, some fields and things like that. So there you go, with the makings of a bustling little farming town on the outskirts, that can get its own little railway station and so on. It's not that far out of the city, but it is out a little bit. And it's not going to cause us a lot of traffic, but it will cause some traffic. Okay, so there you go. That is our little farming village, or a farming town, or a farming settlement out here in the sticks with no workers whatsoever. So we'll have to bust them in. I might add a few more houses to the area, maybe even like that, just so that there's a little bit more action going on over here. Some smaller, something like that, maybe a little something over here, maybe a nice big one on the other side, and that just gives us a little bit more a bit more workers in the area to kind of work this area a little bit better. These commercial areas, I'm kind of liking it. And we can run a bus route out here at some point from a kind of main bus terminal. Something like this would be a decent spot to run a bus line from. Yeah, that's pretty good. And eventually, if we expand into this direction, because what will happen if we've got an area of economic activity in, so these guys are needing workers, and obviously it's not always easy to find a place to stay over here. So what a city would do in a case like that, it would find a low cost area. Something like this would definitely generate low cost, and now you'll get opportunistic developers who just say, oh well, why don't we fill in a bit of a infill residential area, and then you kind of get a bit of a low higher density but lower income area near your industrial areas, and they can actually feed workers into that area as well. It's typical. It's not ideal, it is typical. And by no means ideal, but it is a typical way and shape of how things develop. Okay, I am still very, very much impressed by my diverging diamond interchange. It is working so much better than what we had. It's working really, really well. Something here is not quite right. So let me have a quick stab at this. Yeah, that didn't quite maintain what we used to have here. So I'll just make sure to do this, and then what we also need is over here, we need these two to merge together and this one to maintain free flow, and we'll see if that helps it out at all. It gets the whole thing smoother, right? It gets the whole thing to work smoother. Perfect. So that's working well. I'm liking the braids that we've got going on over here. It is this very standard for something that is close to an interchange. I think ultimately if we finish off this interchange, it'll be pretty hectic to achieve all of the other movements that we still need over here. So we'll have to gauge that as we go. I'm quite keen on checking these bridges. They're all still working. It's getting pretty busy in here, which is exactly what I'm after. The roundabout is starting to become a problem, and certainly this ramp is a bit of an issue, but still functioning. And then of course this is a big problem, so we might have to have a look at just how we deal with this but we'll leave that for another episode. And we're out of water for some reason yet again. I am flabbergasted at the amount of water we use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop in a water sucker, a water pumping station over here, just to kind of supplement what we've got going on. And it's pretty pricey. So we'll pop in a water sucker in this vicinity to supplement some water into the network. I'm wondering if it's the farming that's actually cost us all of that water. But I like this little area. That house looks a little bit out of place over here. Maybe the wealthy farmer. It looks a little bit out of place though, but it's working. Cool. I'm liking that. Okay, so I would like to extend in this area, so we can try and drive some traffic on the bridge over here. I would most certainly like to do some very high density stuff over here. Maybe even some, is this iron ore? Some iron ore industry in this area to try and drive some more traffic in that direction. But yeah, all in all, our traffic is by no means the kind of problem that we typically see in Cities Skylines games, because the city is planned from a transport point of view. Yes, we've got key areas where there is, that's not cute enough. We've got key areas where it does get busy. I'm not going to deny that even for a second, as you will always have. But in general, the flow of traffic in this city is a breeze. No problems whatsoever. And to be honest, I'm trying to make more and heavy traffic so that we have something to solve. And we're not really finding that, because we've got public transport systems, not the greatest, It's very mediocre public transport systems at the moment, but we've got them in nonetheless, and so they are helping us out. But okay, guys, I'm going to put a cut in this episode. I'm ExactChaos, and this has been Cities Skylines Exactly. If you've liked this episode, please give me a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel, and also leave some comments down below. What do you want us to do next? What are you loving about this series? What are you hating about this series? And let's see how we go from there. Okay, bye-bye.